What can Oklahoma do to stall the prophesied Titan of Texas being back? Sark is making some alarming moves, almost like he might be the one to create stability in the Longhorn program. Is this more like Hercules defeating Hades in the Disney cartoon, or does it look like Thor trying to prevent Ragnarok? Ragnarok. In that you can only postpone it. Maybe Texas will secede from the United States, and it will be more advantageous for recruits to cross the Red River on student visas to compete for championships and later join the NFL. Thanks. Love the show. Sounds like we've got an Oklahoma fan with Disney and Marvel passions and wants to make sure that Sark doesn't disrupt the Oklahoma's dominance in the Big 12. What do we think?
First of all, I just want to make it clear that I don't know Ragnarok from watching Marvel movies. I know it from actual Norse mythology. All right, so you nerds. I don't watch those comic book movies, you nerds. But I think that, I don't think you need to worry if you're an Oklahoma fan just yet. I think that what you need to do is keep doing what you've been doing because it's clearly working pretty well for you. And maybe Sark is the guy that fixes Texas football. Maybe this is what they needed to do. It's just we've seen this before with Texas. Like when they hired Charlie Strong, there was positive momentum at the start. When they hired Tom Herman, there was positive momentum at the start. Anytime Texas hires a new coach, there's going to be positive momentum. It's freaking Texas. What's going to come down is whether they're going to be able to keep it going and turn it into wins. So until Texas is out on the field, really, not just beating me because, they do beat Oklahoma from time to time, even during their down years, because they're still a talented team. But until I see them doing it on a consistent weekly basis where they're a legitimate Big 12 title contender, if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I'm not all that worried about it until they give me reason to be worried. And I don't think anything you've seen yet is reason to be worried. And Texas fans, don't take that as me saying that I don't think that it's going to happen, because it very well could. I'm just saying you shouldn't be too excited about it yet either.
This is a rare Oklahoma fan, don't you think? Do you think many of them are worried about Texas? Like they shouldn't be. You guys won 6 Big 12 conference championships in a row. You guys have the ball rolling. You've been to the playoffs. Like I'd be more worried about how do we win the next game? How do we win a playoff game as opposed to what's happening with Texas? I mean, Texas has been a bit of a dumpster fire. Post Mac Brown, end of Mac Brown, up till now. And I'm bullish. I like Texas. I like the Sark hire, but I'm totally agreeing with Tom. You got to do it first. And I think they're making the necessary adjustments. Tom's referenced on here a bunch of times how the Oklahoma defense was actually much better last year than maybe perceived. What was it? Top 15 in a lot of the analytical categories. Some of the deeper dive defensive categories. Mm-hmm. Man, they're addressing some of the issues. Big Cat Bryant rumors going to Oklahoma, like bolstering up a defensive line. So, I mean, Spencer Rattler's already there. You got more stability at quarterback than you do at Texas. I would not be worried about it until it happens. Yeah, you don't want to be arrogant and just not even think about it. But I think you got things going just the right direction you need to go if you're Oklahoma. I think your bigger problem is how do you get past a Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, whatever team you're going to face in the playoff than it is against Texas.
Great point. It is not a promised inevitability. And for this Oklahoma fan, you're right, it might be rare because the other side of the spectrum, Oklahoma fan, is measuring themselves against the other teams that have multiple college football playoff appearances. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. That's it. Those are the 4. I mean, Notre Dame's been to 2, but beyond that, that is the list of teams with multiple college football playoff appearances. I think the Sooners are definitely more focused, obviously, after this past season on getting back to the playoff and then figuring out a way to be able to take the next step.